Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when the weight of fear becomes too heavy to carry, when your mind becomes a battlefield, not because you're weak, but because you've been strong for too long. Fear creeps in not just as a thought, but as a belief, something so loud that it drowns out reason, blocks your vision, and freezes your faith. I know what that feels like. I've been there. I've stood in rooms full of people and still felt completely alone. I've smiled while drowning. I've succeeded outwardly while crumbling inwardly. But there was one moment, one sacred, transformative moment, when everything began to shift, and it wasn't because I got a new strategy. It wasn't a motivational video. It wasn't even a powerful conversation with a mentor. It was one verse, one divine sentence that pierced through the chaos of my thoughts and exposed fear for the fraud it really is. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That verse 2 Timothy 1:7 didn't just inform me, it transformed me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me clearly. We were never created to operate in fear. Never. That's not just poetic language. That's truth. You see, fear is a thief. It robs us of peace, it steals our potential, and it poisons our perspective, and yet we carry it. We hold it like it belongs to us. We even identify with it. I'm just an anxious person. I'm just a worrier. No, you're not. That's not who you are. That may be what you've experienced, but it's not your identity. When I read that verse, I didn't just read it like words on a page. I sat with it. I meditated on it. I asked myself, if God didn't give me fear, then why am I carrying it like a gift? If God gave me power, why am I acting powerless? If he gave me love, why am I doubting my worth? And if he gave me a sound mind, why am I allowing my thoughts to run wild like they have no master? Let me tell you something. Fear is not from your Creator. It's from your enemy. And if it didn't come from God, it has no right to stay in your life. Fear is an intruder, an illegal occupant. It only stays where it's allowed. So you've got to serve it an eviction notice. That verse, ladies and gentlemen, didn't just tell me who I wasn't. It told me who I was. Power, love, sound mind, that's what I was given. That's what you were given. That means it's already in you. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to chase it. You just have to activate it. Now let me break this down, because every word in that verse is loaded. God has not given us a spirit of fear. That means fear is a spirit. It's not just an emotion. It's a spirit, a presence, a force, and that spirit does not come from the source of life. So every time you operate in fear, you're operating outside of your design. Fear is a virus in your spiritual coding, and if you let it run, it will infect everything. Your relationships, your finances, your goals, your self-image. But watch this. He's given us a spirit of power. Power is not noise. Power is not hype. Power is quiet confidence. Power is knowing who you are, even when people try to make you feel less than. Power is walking into a room and not needing validation because you already know your value. Power is the ability to move mountains, sometimes with your words, sometimes with your silence. It's the divine ability to influence, to create, to command outcomes instead of reacting to circumstances. Then he says love, and some people hear love and think it's weak. No, real love is dangerous to fear, because love casts out fear. You can't love deeply and be afraid deeply at the same time. Love empowers. Love believes. Love lifts. Love shields. Love reminds you who you are, even when the world forgets. And then he says, sound mind. That broke me, because, ladies and gentlemen, I had been walking with a mind that was loud, but not sound. A mind full of racing thoughts, inner critics, worry loops, and what-ifs. A sound mind isn't just comets clear. It's not tossed back and forth by opinions. It's not paralyzed by the fear of failure or success. A sound mind is stable. It can discern truth from lies. A sound mind is disciplined. It doesn't entertain every thought that walks in the door. A sound mind has boundaries. It knows when to speak, when to act, when to wait, and when to walk away. That verse taught me something foundational. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. It's a sign that there's something valuable on the other side. So when fear shows up, it means your breakthrough is close. Your healing is near. Your next level is approaching. Fear is not confirmation of danger. It's confirmation of destiny. Now listen, I'm not saying you'll never feel fear again. I still feel it sometimes. But there's a difference between feeling fear and being ruled by it. One is human, the other is bondage. You've got to make a decision. Will you let fear tell you who you are, or will you stand in the power, love, and sound mind that you've already been given? Let me ask you a serious question. How many opportunities have you missed because of fear? How many relationships have you sabotaged because you were afraid of being hurt again? How many dreams have you buried because fear whispered, "You're not enough"? I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to wake you up. Fear is loud, but it's not Lord. It's persistent, but it's not permanent. You get to choose what spirit governs your life. And if fear is not from God, it has no legitimate authority. Don't give it access it doesn't deserve. Some of you are waiting for fear to go away before you move. Let me break it to you. Faith doesn't require fear to leave. Faith just requires that you move anyway. If you wait until you're no longer afraid, you'll wait forever. But if you walk with the truth that fear is not from your source, you'll move even with trembling hands and a shaky voice, because courage is not the absence of fear's dominion over it. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is sacred ground. Don't let fear plant seeds in it. Don't let it build strongholds. That verse didn't just give me peace, it gave me authority. Authority to cast down thoughts that don't align with truth. Authority to refuse anxiety access to my day. Authority to step into rooms I once felt unworthy of entering. You see, healing didn't happen all at once. It wasn't magic. It was intentional. Every time fear crept up, I'd speak that verse out loud. Not whisper it, speak it, because fear thrives in silence. But when you speak truth, fear starts to lose its grip. My mind didn't get healed because I ignored my issues. It got healed because I confronted the lie with the truth. Repeatedly, consistently, relentlessly. Some of you have been waiting for a therapist, a mentor, a pastor, a friend, someone to come and pull you out. But let me tell you, your deliverance might not come through someone else's hand. It might come through your own mouth. That verse is your weapon. Use it. When you wake up feeling overwhelmed, speak it. When you're about to walk into a tough meeting, declare it. When you're battling anxiety in the middle of the night, stand on it. When the enemy tries to whisper lies, fight back with truth, for God has not given us a spirit of fear. Say it until your soul believes it. Say it until your mind aligns with it. Say it until fear shrinks under the weight of truth. Ladies and gentlemen, your fear is not bigger than your future. Your anxiety is not stronger than your assignment, and your thoughts do not have the right to dictate your identity unless you give them that right. You were born with power, you were created in love, you were gifted with a sound mind, everything else is counterfeit. Let me close with this. That verse saved me, not just spiritually, but mentally, emotionally, practically. I stopped being a prisoner to fear and became a steward of faith. I stopped entertaining chaos and started cultivating peace. I stopped giving fear a seat at my table and started walking in authority. You can too. The verse is not just a sentence. It's a lifeline, a key, a strategy, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, you are not alone, not weak, not broken. You are powerful. You are loved. You are sound. I need you to understand something that many people never grasp, and it keeps them stuck. That verse wasn't placed in Scripture just to be memorized. It was placed there to be lived. It was placed there so that when your back is against the wall, when your mind is under attack, When your heart is heavy and your spirit feels broken, you don't crumble. You remember who gave you life. You remember what he gave you. You remember that what is in you is greater than anything that comes against you. So many people walk around every day with masks on, not to deceive others, but to survive. They smile in public and cry in silence. They function in society while being fractured internally, and we have come to accept that as normal. But let me tell you something. Normal is overrated if it means staying in bondage. I'm not interested in normal. I'm interested in freedom, and freedom begins in the mind, because as a man or woman thinks in their heart, so are they. If you keep rehearsing fear, you will live in fear. If you keep speaking limitation, you will walk in limitation. But if you shift your inner dialogue, if you train your mouth to line up with truth and not emotion, your whole world will begin to shift. Do you know why that one verse has so much power? Because it's a complete formula. It's not just a promise, it's a strategy. Fear is the disease, power, love, and a sound mind are the antidotes. You don't fight fear by avoiding it. You fight fear by confronting it with what's already inside of you. That verse told me that the Spirit God gave me is loaded with everything I need to win the battle in my mind and in my life. Let's get real. Fear doesn't always come in the form of panic. Sometimes fear is disguised as procrastination. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. Sometimes it comes wearing the mask of indecision. You keep telling yourself you're just waiting for the right time. No, you're not. You're afraid to fail, afraid to succeed, afraid to be seen, afraid to be exposed. But if you keep waiting for fear to leave before you move, you'll bury your purpose with you. Ladies and gentlemen, what would your life look like if fear no longer sat in the driver's seat? What would you build? What would you heal? Who would you become? You don't need another opportunity. You need to break that agreement with fear. Because that's exactly what fear is, an agreement. Somewhere along the way, you decided that fear was worth listening to. You decided that fear made sense. But guess what? You can make a new decision. You can decide that fear is not the voice you follow anymore. That's what that verse did for me. It gave me permission to revoke fear's license. It gave me the green light to walk forward even when my legs trembled. It gave me a mirror that showed me my reflection as it truly is, not afraid, not broken, not confused, but full of power, rooted in love, and grounded with a sound mind. And hear me, it wasn't a magical overnight change. I had to rewire how I thought. I had to detox from fear. I had to challenge every lie I had believed about myself. I had to stop agreeing with thoughts that sounded like, "You'll never be good enough," "You always mess things up," "You're not qualified," lies, all of them. But I believed them because they were familiar, and sometimes we confuse familiarity with truth. But truth doesn't just comfort you, it confronts you. That verse confronted my excuses. It confronted my victim mentality. It confronted the way I was lowering my standards because I was afraid to try again, and the more I stood on it, the more it stood in me. I became stronger, not because I got more educated, not because my circumstances changed, but because I shifted the foundation I was standing on. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. You don't have to live afraid. You don't have to settle for anxiety. You don't have to normalize depression. You can reclaim your peace. You can rebuild your confidence. You can heal your mind, not with wishful thinking, but with truth. Real, timeless, unshakable truth. The kind of truth that sets you free. Let me tell you what else happened when I made that verse my reality. I stopped seeking external validation. I stopped begging people to affirm what God already said about me. Because when you understand that you were given a spirit of power, you don't look for power from other people. You bring power into the room. When you understand you've been given love, you stop performing for acceptance. You stop bending yourself just to fit into someone else's insecure expectations. And when you know you have a sound mind, you stop second, guessing your every move. You move in wisdom, you move in clarity, you move with purpose. Do you know what healed me? It wasn't just the absence of fear, it was the presence of truth. Truth heals, it realigns, it restores, and most importantly, it reveals. That verse revealed a version of me I had buried under years of fear and doubt. It reminded me that I was built for more, and so are you. Fear wants you to believe that you're stuck, that nothing will change, that you are broken beyond repair, but fear is a liar, and not just any liar, it's a repetitive liar. It doesn't even get creative. It tells you the same stories over and over again until you start calling those lies your identity. But today you can choose differently. Today you can say, I no longer agree with fear. Say it until your soul catches up with your spirit. You may have been through hell. You may have scars that nobody sees. You may have fought battles in your mind that left you exhausted. But I'm here to tell you, you are not defeated. You are not done. That verse is your comeback card. That verse is your new story. That verse is your strategy. Let me ask you something else. What if everything you've prayed for, everything you've dreamed about, everything you've been working toward, is already available, but fear is the only thing standing in the way? Not your job, not your background, not your bank account. Fear. If that's the case, then your breakthrough is not on the outside. It's inside your decision to believe differently. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how long you've carried fear. I don't care how deep the trauma goes. I don't care what your past looks like. I'm not impressed by how long you've suffered. I'm here to show you how quickly things can change when you embrace truth. One verse, that's all it took to ignite something in me that fear couldn't extinguish. And listen, I still have moments. I'm not perfect, but the difference now is I have weapons. I don't just suffer, I fight. I don't just sit with my thoughts, I challenge them. I don't just endure the storm, I speak peace into it, and you can too. Fear is loud, but it's not lasting. It has a volume, but it does not have eternity. The verse didn't tell me that I might have power. It said I have it, present tense, right now. That means I don't have to wait for a future version of myself to be fearless. I just have to access what's already been deposited. You've been praying for peace. It's already in you. You've been waiting for strength. It's already there. You've been searching for clarity. Your mind was designed to be sound. But you've got to evict the squatters, those lying thoughts, those toxic beliefs, those old narratives that no longer serve you. There is a version of you on the other side of fear that is bold, joyful, peaceful, and focused. A version of you that doesn't flinch every time life hits hard. A version that doesn't shrink back when it's time to be seen. A version that doesn't hide your brilliance just to make others comfortable. That version is not a fantasy. It's who you really are when fear is no longer in control. Ladies and gentlemen, the healing of your mind begins with the exposure of a lie, and fear has been lying to you long enough. Today is the day you draw the line in the sand. Today is the day you stop being a prisoner and start being a warrior, not just for yourself, but for everyone connected to your purpose, because someone is waiting on you to break free. Someone is watching how you handle adversity. Someone is hoping you rise, because your victory will give them permission to believe it's possible for them too. You don't fight just for yourself. You fight for legacy. So what will it be? Will you keep letting fear dictate your life? Or will you stand on the truth that your Creator didn't give you fear? He gave you power, love, and a sound mind. The choice is yours. The time is now, and the truth is this: you are powerful, you are loved, you are sound. Now rise up and live like it. Let me leave you with this: fear will knock, but it doesn't have to enter. It will speak, but you don't have to listen. And it will rise, but you have the power to shut it down every single time. That one verse didn't just quiet my fear, it destroyed it. It realigned my thinking. It restructured my soul. It reminded me that I am not a victim of what I feel. I am a vessel of what God has placed inside me. And what he placed in me, he placed in you too. You have the authority to live bold, to walk free, to think clearly, to love deeply, to rise daily. No more waiting, no more wondering, no more wandering. Stand on the truth, walk in the truth. Be the truth that fear tried to bury. Because once you've tasted real freedom, there's no going back to mental captivity. Thank you for allowing me to share my heart with you today. My prayer is that this message not only uplifts you but transforms you, that you walk away with more than motivation. You walk away with a mindset that refuses to bow to fear ever again. Thank you. God bless you. Keep standing strong. Thank you.